Okay, so here I have kind of my chart I'm going to use to show you all the different colors I have. I worked it out ahead of time using a little bit of trial and error, and as I added a few things and I worked around it. And so here we go. This is going to be all the colors that I have, and I've already grouped them by their different color families, both the big family of like red, orange, and so forth, or YR and so on, and by their smaller color families that you see here of like the teens and the 20s here, and then separated some of the ones that are individual, and then the 80s here, so on and so forth. All throughout all the colors, so you'll get to see the ones that blend well, that are intended to blend together as color families, and then some of the separated colors. So hopefully this will be helpful as a way to look at all these colors. So we're going to get started with the red. And so first off, R11, pale cherry pink, R12, light tea rose, which is just that little bit darker. These are going to fade together really well. R14, light rouge. Now that is darker, but I don't have an intermediary color between those. R17, which is lipstick orange. But you can see that even though there is kind of a jump between those two colors, between the 12 and 14, that they are all together. They're part of a little family there. Then we have R24, prawn. Ooh, I skipped one. Hang on. I'm going to do this the right way. R20, which is blush. Then we've got R24, prawn. R27, which is cadmium red. R29, lipstick red. So again, you can kind of see that these blend well, that they're all within that same kind of family, and you could see that those would fade together well as you work with them. But so let me bring that up just a little closer. You can see that they're slightly different shades of red, that these are a little bit more peachy, and these are more properly red, a little more pink, more what you picture, I think, when you think pink and red, whereas this is that little bit of a peachy undertone to it. But so that's one family. This is a separate family. And then I have a few stray colors. R32, which is peach. Which is a really pretty color. R46, strong red. R59, cardinal. It's a nice deep red. I like that one. R85, rose red. And then its family member, R89, dark red. And those are my reds, and you see kind of the 80s are a little bit of a purple undertone to them that you don't see with the other ones. Maybe a little bit with the 59, but over here I like those for some roses and things like that. But so, ta-da! That's my red family. Next we're going to get on to our yellow reds. I have some very pale ones here. This is YR000, which is silk. It's a very soft color. I actually like that for blending with some of the skin tones. YR00, powder pink. And you can see that those blend together very well. YR02, light orange. And YR04, chrome orange. And these kind of just get richer as they go down. They do get darker, obviously, but I feel like the color just kind of gets richer as it gets to that that higher second digit down there. And then YR23, which is a different subfamily, yellow ochre. It's kind of a fun, dirtier orange. I actually like that for more of, like, it works well with golds and kind of a steampunk feel. Then we've got YR68, which is just orange. I used that for some nice red hair at one point, and that was kind of fun. On my first 3 marker challenge, I want to say that was. But so I've only got 6 of those, and most of them are part of the blending family. But so you can see in that how all of these just fade together so nicely. And these are very different colors. I could use the 68 with this, but it's not going to be as smooth, so depending on what kind of effect I wanted to achieve, I might just stick to what I have here. But I feel like that is actually a really good example of how a certain family, a certain subfamily of those, these are the 0 blank, I guess you could say 0x, 0 blank. So the first digit here, the 0, is obviously the family. They're all in. They all have that 0, so they're all in that family. And then depending on whether this one has a double 0 indicating it's kind of a negative, it goes further down, goes further light than just the plain 0. 2, 4, so those are all in order. They all just go together because of that first digit. You know that they're going to blend smoothly together as a family. And so that's a really, really good example of that. Right, now we're going to move on to the yellows. And I have, again, a fairly small selection of those, but we're just going to run with it. I start with the lightest here, barium yellow, Y00. And that is a very light color. It looks dark going on just now simply because it's not dry yet. You'll notice that when the paper gets wet that it does that. It'll darken for a little bit. Y06, so that's just yellow. This is Y13, lemon yellow. Y15, cadmium yellow. Y18, lightning yellow. And we're going to do a family jump. Y21, buttercup yellow. Another family jump. Y38, honey. This is one of the first ones I got. So that's still drying a little bit, but again, you can see that when they're in a family, they do fade together quite nicely. Moving on to the YGs. This is YG00, mimosa yellow. Mimosa, which is a little limey looking on the tip, but it comes out looking a little bit more like this once it's dried out. And you'll see that. And this is YG03, yellow green. And just 17, YG17, grass green. This one. We're going to go in order. So 17 does its own thing, 21 does its own thing. YG21, anise. Or anise, I suppose. I'm not sure exactly. Now we'll do 41, which is pale cobalt green. I like this one. It's pretty. And YG95, which is pale olive, and I really like it as an olive color. I would wear that all day. But that got the pale cobalt green almost has a little bit of a mint color to it to me. But these, the YG00 and 03, they're kind of limey and really festive and tropical looking to me. I really like those colors, and they work well for those really bright, springy kind of pictures. Moving on to the greens. G00, goo, jade green. This is a really, really soft, really pretty green color. And G05, I don't have any kind of variation between these. I wish I had like at least one more intermediate color to get a good fade on this, but at any rate, they're still in the same color family, which you'll be able to see. G07, Nile Green, G12, Sea Green, which is also a really pretty color. I mean, I guess you could say there are no ugly colors, that all colors are pretty in the right way, but there are some that I just like more. G21 is Lime Green, and this is like the actual color, like I feel like this is actually a really good approximation of the actual color of the inside of a lime or near the skin of a lime. I described that as kind of a lime green, but that's kind of like that tropical fun lime color that we've decided is lime, whereas this is actually a pretty true to life kind of lime, I think. G28, Ocean Green. Even though, I mean, these are at opposite ends of the spectrum again because of that 1 and that 8 right there. Opposite ends of the spectrum within their family, but they are they have the same undertone. So if I had some more colors in between, that would create a really nice fade between them, but they work really well together. And then we have 85, Verdigris. I always think of Wicked. Grayish Olive, G94. And so you can see now that that's kind of settled out, that those will fade together. And if I had like one more value somewhere in between that 0 and 5 right here, that would make a really smooth transition, but they look really good together. Alright, now we'll move on to the blue greens, which after obviously earth tones and then reds is my biggest collection of colors. I did not realize until I started kind of collecting my markers that I had changed my favorite color. Pink used to be my favorite color, and I've realized as I've been doing this that blue-green is my favorite color, and maybe you'll see why. This is BG09, which is just blue-green. Being a 9, it's a nice dark color. And we move to a separate color family with 10. BG10 is Cool Shadow, and this is one of my favorites too. It's just so pretty. But this one is actually I know that when I watched the video that I'm looking for something. Hang on. That Art a la Carte did. That she compared these two, the G00 and the BG10, and they are really close, but I think it's worth having the two of them. I actually think these two play really, really well together, and so just as a quick example, I used a mix of those in the background of this, and so some of the subtle variations in the water that I did throughout here was between those two colors, and I feel like just having that little bit of subtlety to play with can be really powerful, and so I think that that is a really good option. I would love to have both of these colors in almost all of my drawings because they're just so pretty, and I think that they look so nice together. But let me just pull those together really quick. This is the BG10, and so I'm going to do a little bit over here between the two. So I think they're just that little bit different, but just similar, but just different enough to really make a really beautiful mix together. But at any rate, going back to the BGs, these markers, that was the 10, moving on to the 18, obviously going from 0 to 8 on that second digit. This is much darker than the first one, but they are in the same kind of family. Not even same kind of family, they are in the same family. Did I miss one? Well, I missed it when I was labeling it, so trying to be all neat and orderly, and it didn't work out. Anyway, BG23, Coral Sea. We will insert that one right here. And I will make a quick note. That was 23. My bad. I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was, y'all. BG34, Horizon Green. This is also a really pretty one. I'm going to say that a lot for these colors. They're all so pretty. I love the blue-greens. And like I said, I thought my favorite color was pink for the longest time, but apparently that changed at some point, and I didn't realize it because these are gorgeous and I love them so much. BG45, Nile Blue, is that lovely color right down there. And then BG49, Duck Blue, which this is one of those ones that I kept seeing in the store and kept seeing and kept deciding maybe that's not one that I need in my collection, and finally I sprung for it, and I don't regret it at all. But it's almost this beautiful kind of peacock, deep peacock color. I'm just going to do this real quick. We're just going to blend those puppies just a bit. Oh, so beautiful. Moving on. BG70, Ocean Mist. It's obviously very pale. This is a really nice light color for adding an undertone to something. By which I mean, like, for instance, again in that picture, this picture here, I didn't have a gray that was quite the color I wanted, and I want to say I used that BG70 or something kind of similar in lightness to add a subtle blue-green undertone to a cool gray. But so that's why I really like having a variety of really light colors, because sometimes you don't have the exact color you want, but you can add the right undertone to your picture if you have the right light colors. BG72, Ice Ocean, which we can all say it together now. It's so pretty. It's got, these ones have a slight grayish undertone to them. BG75, Abyss Green. And obviously, depending on how many layers of color you add, you're going to get deeper color when you add more to the paper. But again, you can see how light this is. That's 70. You almost can't see it actually on the camera. It comes out just slightly stronger color in life, I think. But again, just having some subtlety is really useful. BG96, this one is Bush. This one will play really well with some of these olive tones of the green. So those are my blue greens. Yay! Right, moving on to our blues. First we have B00, Frost Blue. Just light but not super light. You'll see that these get a little more intense color-wise. B02, Robin's Egg Blue. And then B05, Process Blue. This is another one that I just really, really like. And every time I saw it, I wanted it and decided to spring for it, and I don't regret it either. That is just a really pretty, almost watery, but not quite. It's almost too intense to be a water, but beautiful blue. B29, we're going to a separate family again, Ultramarine, which is nice and dark. Again, that 9 value is going to be the darkest value in whatever family it's in. Then we have B45, Smoky Blue. And these are all separate, these last few colors. I only have a little bit of a family over here, and then these are all separate. But smoky is appropriate. It's got a little bit of a gray to it. B63, Light Hydrangea. This one has, like, you can kind of tell by the cap even, just a faint purplish kind of quality to it. It's very, very appropriate that it's called hydrangea, I think. And then B99 Agate, which is a nice kind of navy color. Again, a 9 value, nice and deep. And so those are my blues. Moving on to Blue Violet, which is, yes, Blue Violets are my smallest selection of colors. I'm not even going to take the time to sort those out before I start doing them. This is BV000, a very light blue violet, iridescent mauve. And then BV08, moving on down to an 8 means it's getting very dark, and I don't have any intermediate colors between these, but they are in the same quality. They have the same undertone and are the same family. Then I have BV13 Hydrangea Blue. Again, hydrangea is a good word for that. BV17 Deep Reddish Blue, which doesn't look as reddish to me. I know it says reddish, but it doesn't look all that reddish to me. I actually feel like these almost look a little bit more red than these do. It's kind of there, but I don't know that I would have used the word reddish in describing that. So those are my blue violets. Moving on to violet, which again is quite small, and I do have just 2 little color families here. V000 Pale Heath. It's very light. It really is just kind of a sweet purpley color. V04 Lilac. And then V09 Violet. So again, same kind of undertone, but they do work together. I wish I had some more intermediates between that, but you can obviously tell I just don't have a lot of violet. So that just means that I need to get more. No, I don't need to spend more money on my markers, but I love them so much. V12 Pale Lilac. But having more intermediates just makes it easier to blend is the big thing. V17 Amethyst. And I guess you could say, I mean, if I were paying more attention and working more on blending these together gently, then I could get more subtlety between them and softness. So you see how that acts when I do that, and then I can darken it out from there a little bit more. So you see, you can't, yeah, if it drips, here's a tip, quick tip. If it drips like that, it's just a pressure thing. If you do like this and take the opposite end off, it'll be fine. It will be a-okay. But at any rate, you can work it to get smooth. It just takes a little bit more effort. Having the intermediate colors takes work away from you. English not gooding right now. Anyway, pretty violets. Moving on to red violets. This is RV02 Sugared Almond Pink, which is a really pretty color. It's a little bit fluorescent when you're looking at it on the tip, but it does not dry that color. Then we have RV21 Light Pink. RV25 Dog Rose Flower. I don't know what a dog rose flower is, but the color is nice on this marker. It is a little bit glaring, I think. This one is bordering on fluorescent there, in my opinion, but it can be a very useful color. Next we have RV34, which is dark pink. I'm kind of surprised they didn't make light pink here. Kind of surprised they didn't make the names work out that way, to where light pink and dark pink were in the same family, but they didn't. They didn't ask me. Maybe they shouldn't. Sometimes I'm just too scattered for my own good. RV66 Raspberry. This is a really fantastic and really fun color. Like raspberry beret. So true. It's a fantastic raspberry color. RV Peony. Excuse me, RV6. Get into those E's, those earth tones. Got a lot of them, so brace yourselves. E000 Pale Fruit Pink. The pink is a good indicator that these might have a subtle pink or red undertone to them, and that is the case with these, the whole E0 blank family. E00 Cotton Pearl. These work really well for some of those nice pale skin tones. And as we get to the darker ones in a moment, lipsticks and things like that. E02 Fruit Pink. Again, it's got a pink undertone, a slight reddish to it. E04, which is Lipstick Natural. And then E07, which is Light Mahogany. So that one you can really see that the red gets a strong play in there. So we'll just kind of blend just a little bit to help you see some of that a little better. I'm not using all the best techniques as I work through these, but that'll help kind of see how they play together. Again, they all have kind of a reddish quality to them once they've dried out here. So they're still drying a little bit, but you can see that they do have that kind of red undertone to them within that brown color. Moving on to the teens. I don't have very many of these, but E11 Barley Beige. E13 Light Suntan. E15 Dark Suntan. And those, again, just work nicely together because they're made to work nicely together. Getting into the 20s, E21 Soft Sun. E23 Hazelnut. Haselnuss. I don't speak German. E25 Caribe Cocoa. I think it's Caribe Cocoa. I don't know, but it's spelled with an E and it's cocoa. E25. If you don't know how to pronounce the name, you just call it by the number call sign and you will be okay. So those are a fairly rich kind of color. They're duller than some of the others, but I feel like this is a nice set of just browns. Getting into the 30s, which is another nice long stretch. Like this is a nice long stretch. So E31 Brick Beige. E33 Sand. E35 Chamois. I think it's chamois. But it's definitely E35. E37 Sepia. And E39 Leather. So again, you can see that these play very well together and you get a pretty nice smooth transition. The biggest jump is right here through the, oops, right here through these guys. And sometimes you'll notice that. We got to the end of these and I just kept going without looking up at my camera and I didn't realize that it had stopped recording. But I'm going to give you these and we'll just kind of run through them anyway. Starting back, I'll try and give the commentary that I was giving at the time, but these two colors, E41 and E49 are pearl white and dark bark. 41 pearl white, 49 dark bark. I really like these together. They kind of have a coffee and cream quality to them that I really like. And obviously, despite being at opposite ends of the spectrum, being a 1 and a 9 within the 40 family, they do work together. You can see that undertone within them. Next are the 50s. And so it started here with eggshell, which is obviously very pale. The 50 is actually lighter than the 41 over here. It is a very, very light color, but it is, again, nice to have some subtlety sometimes. Depending on what you're going for and what kind of pictures you do, you probably want some subtle colors like that. But so E50, eggshell. E53, raw silk, is the second color here. I'll just give a little scribble. Since I've already done the color, it's kind of pointless, but you'll see how it goes on now a little bit. E57, light walnut. We'll just do the chisel for now. We're going to make it different, darn it. E59, which is walnut, so you have light walnut and then just walnut. And they just play nice together, obviously, being from the same family. The 70s are a little bit of a gray. 70 is ash rose. The ash is really indicative of that color. It's just a warm gray, honestly. If you wanted a brown color that kind of substituted for your grays, I mean, you could do these. This is cocoa brown. Again, it's just got that kind of ashy gray quality to it. E79 cashew. And I can obviously work these to where they blend a little bit more, but they'll work quite nicely together as they are. I was going to say something else, but now I don't remember what it was, so sorry. If I remember, it'll go down here in the bottom of the screen. And lastly, this is E95, which is tea orange. And I just kind of commented how it was kind of it's just orange enough compared to some of the others that, for instance, it could be a blush for skin tones that use like 50 or 41 as kind of the base lightest tone. I think I've used this one, this tea orange for lipstick once. Not on myself, obviously, in a picture. But at any rate, there it is. Tea orange. There you go. And now we're going to get into my grays. I don't have a ton of grays, and I just have a few of 3. I do not have any toner grays, but we are going to do 100, which is black. Color of my sister's heart. She would laugh at that. I'm not being mean. Going into our neutral grays. All the grays are labeled really simply, so I'm not going to get into names that much. It's N0, N4, neutral gray 0, neutral gray 4. But so, yes, okay. A nice light gray and a nice medium gray. The cool grays, I have a 2, a 5, and a 7. So here's the 2. Oops, it's going to get all mixed up. Here's the 5. And here's the 7. And then we can get into our warm grays, which I have just 1 more than my cools and 2 more than my neutrals. So here's warm 1, warm 3, warm 5, and warm 7. So you can see that by how I layer it in, kind of smooths it out versus some of the others. These were just laid in next to each other. These I did a little bit of overlap, and they fade just beautifully. And you can accomplish that with pretty much any color family. Just depending on how you lay it in makes a huge difference for how it's going to look. Whether you get a smooth transition or you get blocky lines. So that completes my tour, I believe. Those are all of my Copics that I have. And so now you see kind of how some of them play together. How some of them will work together, some of them don't. But again, color, art, it's one of those things that you could take risks or you could not take risks. And if you don't take any, then you'll never know what's going to work. Things will surprise you. And all the colors are beautiful. You'll have your favorites, but hope you had some fun with this. Hope this was semi-informative. Hope I wasn't too annoying. And maybe we'll see you some other time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.